Yo, what's up guys? I'm back here with another video. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit sick in this video. I've been a bit sick the past few days, but I still wanted to be able to get a video out there because I know I promised I would try to do consistent videos. In this video, I got a cool concept that I wanted to talk about, and it was like the invade for Kayn level 1. I know a lot of people in lower elos like to do the invade where you invade the enemy jungle's top side and you take their, well, not top side, their red side, and you take the red and raptors. But in this video, I want to kind of talk about that strat and the pros and cons to it, when to do it, and why to do it. So, usually, typically, you don't want to do this strat in higher elo because people will ward the entrance more than 99% of the time, or just things like that. So, I don't really recommend it in higher elo because it ruins your tempo and clear. But in lower elo, people never ward typically, so I would recommend starting sweeper and just sweep and look to invade the Raptors if you're against like high farming champs like Evelyn. So in this game, I'm against an Evelyn and I'm Kayn, obviously. She's gonna look to full clear. More than likely, they usually start blue, but depending on what path they're going for, this guy ended up starting blue. So I'm looking to take his top side. They have no vision of me, and I'm able to take their top side completely. And in this elo, more than likely they won't account for that. Like the enemy jungle won't think that you're like taking his top side, so he more than likely won't go to your bot side. So he'll just end up checking top side and like trying to invade you or make a desperate play on the other side of the map. But since I'm able to do this 3-camp clear, I'm able to also gank top. My top lane was able to see that I was looking to gank and set it up for me. So Evelyn did end up doing the right play, but if I'm able to catch her here, and if she doesn't do it fast enough, I'm able to take the red from him and also able to kill her. So that's like really good that you keep an eye on the map and knowing where the enemy jungle could be at all times. I'm able to secure a scuttle here. I'm not going to go for my Krugs because I want to make sure I get the top side scuttle. So I'm going to get a deep ward somewhere. I know there's a ward here, but I'm going to get a ward on their wolves. And then I'm going to look to go 2-second scuttle. With the Evelyn matchup, I think that it's a pretty skill matchup, especially in the early game. I think that Evelyn can snowball early against Kayn if played properly. But I honestly think in a 1v1, I think Kayn's better because he has Conqueror plus his Q. Have a lot more damage. It's not really strong at all. I have enough wires with. This is why I ended up resetting, because if I wouldn't have reset and ran straight to my top side, I would not have been able to do that there. I would have just died. Would not have had enough damage. I'd be able to kill her as well here with my Q. I know they don't have flash because they used it from the last play. Now I'm able to full clear my top side. I could invade the Krugs here, but I go at a risk of Darius collapsing on me there and killing me. Alright, let's go over the pros and cons to this. So the pros are obviously you get a massive lead, good tempo. You're able to deny a lot from the enemy jungle, especially in lower elo if you're allowed to do this for free without being punished or seen. The cons are it's not effective in high elo at all. More than likely people will ward the entrance. You'll be seen. Either you'll get collapsed on or you'll force a vertical, which may not work for you because it can like literally drain you out of your full other side of the map, and especially if your lanes aren't strong, I don't recommend doing it. But if you're in lower elos and you're against a farming heavy jungle, I'd recommend doing it and go for it. Depends on matchups. Obviously, you don't want to do it every game. I think the most efficient and the clear that will win you most games is the full clear, obviously in lower elo because it's just the most consistent. We're able to kill the Evelyn here. It's perfect for us. I am 4-0 against the Evelyn. I think 3 levels ahead of her. Flash the W or die. No. And the way you want to do it is you want to keep denying the enemy jungle. When they die, you want to make sure you're on top of their camps. In lower elo, obviously they're not gonna respect Prow as much. Like laners won't collapse on you as easily because they don't understand Prow and they don't really like to help the jungle as much. But in higher elo, usually the Darius will be here collapsing on me and I'll probably end up dying here. But since I'm in gold game, I think gold plat, I'm able to secure that for free. Yeah, it's not bad. You got both sums, up shove. So now I'm able to take my full top side and then I'm gonna look to reset and have a lot of gold. One thing that people do in lower elo is they build a good lead and then they just stop farming. I don't know. They stop farming. They just instead of farming, they look for just consistent plays, coin flip plays. But In lower elo, just try to mix. You have to, well, not in lower elo, just in general, you want to be able to mix both playstyles, like farming and ganking. It's really important to keep that balance. The other reason I'm not doing Rift is because I have my form and my item. I don't want to take any risks at all at potentially going for a fight and dying with this much gold. For my lower elo players, the way you want to track an enemy jungle is by looking at lanes, seeing what lane gets to lane first, and looking at their mana or health bar. Sometimes in low elo they take the buffs for some reason, but yeah, you want to look at the mana or the health bar, and that will determine where the enemy jungle started. Usually, wherever the enemy jungle starts, they'll be more than likely pathing for the opposite lane. So just keep that in mind. And another thing that I want to go over is when an enemy jungle is like a matchup dependent on, like, it depends on matchups too though. Like, just because they do a full, like, they start blue, that doesn't mean that they're gonna go immediately top. Some champions like Viego, Wukong, or any champ that has like not as fast of a clear or aren't really full clear champs, they can do 3 camps, get to level 3 as fast as possible, and they look to gank. Most scaling junglers are full clear junglers, and most early game junglers are 3, 4 camp or 5 camp junglers. So that's how you really want to look at it. So if they're early game, they're 3 to 4. If they're scalers, they're full clear. Since my MF is chasing, I'm able to clear this wave. One thing I always recommend people to do is take waves as much as you can. Obviously, when I say that, I don't mean like go into a lane and just take the wave. You don't obviously want to take the entire wave from your laner in front of them. You're going to take the wave when they're either rotating or they're dead, or do you want to help them push. Obviously, let them cap the wave and you get the XP. You know, just balancing that. And yeah, my CS lead is huge this game. I'm able to take this wave because Diana's doing Rift. See, I'm taking a wave without them getting angry. And I'm able to, since I'm so ahead, I'm able to constantly put pressure on this side. I'm never going to let her get back in the game. I have a 3 level lead and I have almost 100 CS on top of it. Being able to exert that pressure onto the enemy jungle and keeping that pressure on them the entire game is what defines a good jungler from a bad jungler. If you're able to balance ganking and farming just the way that I'm doing it this game is how you'll succeed most of the time, and you will be able to at least climb to diamond 100%. Just from good pathing alone and having decent map awareness. But yeah, whenever I coach my students, they always build a lead, but they always fall behind because they just don't keep up with the farming as the game. I know I've been talking about it a lot, but it's just a really key important point that I see a lot of my low elo junglers make. It's also important that you understand matchups. In some matchups, one other key thing that I see a lot of people make the mistake is they think that they have to full clear every game, but in certain matchups you have to adapt. Like, you have to do that 3 camp into a gank or you're gonna lose. You have to do that invade level 1 or you're gonna lose, because there's certain team comps. I know in low elo team comps don't matter as much, but this is more for like a high elo thing. Certain team comps you can't really do much if they scale, or sometimes you won't have Prowl in certain lanes depending on matchups. So being able to make that impact early is important. The reason I went Ravenous this game is because I'm so ahead. I don't actually think the Ravenous is good on Red Kayn as people would think. It's decent if you're really ahead and you're snowballing like I am this game, but more than likely a better build would be Core Drinker, Cleaver, Death Dance into a Maw, Grudge, or a Take Your Item. I think that the Ravenous is probably like 4th or 5th item. I don't actually think it's really necessary. The clear is already fast enough, and it just makes you too squishy. I think the most solid build for Red Kayn right now is Core Drinker into Death Dance and Cleaver. Vice versa, you can do Cleaver before Death Dance, depends on the player. I think that the Prowler's build is also not bad. I really like that build, especially when you're against squisher melee champs. I think the Prowler's build is really good to stick onto them and get DPS. Blue Kayn is also very viable. I think that Blue Kayn is really good with ballers into squishies, obviously, and Golden build is good depending on matchups. But I do think that Red is just a lot better at the moment. So just spam and abuse Red, because a lot of champs are building Heartsteel, building Jack Show, and Red Kayn's really good with the HP stackers. I'm almost 11 CS per minute this game, which is amazing. So if you're up against a Kayn and you want to counter that as well, just make sure you ward the early opposite side of wherever you're starting, just so the Kayn can't just do that. Some Kayns also look to invade Raptor wolves and take your blue side if they're on the opposite, so you got to keep an eye out for that. So make sure you're not AFKing level 1 and just being active, telling your team what to do in a kind manner so they don't tilt, because a lot of people don't like being told what to do, but if you're kind and you do it properly, I think that people will end up listening to you as long as you're not toxic. I know we're 11-1, pretty much 11 saves per minute. And that's really the most important thing as a jungler. You just need to know matchups, lane matchups and jungle matchups. They're really important. I am still going to be doing those matchups on Kayn versus like certain champs, and I'm going to be doing those like non-edited videos, full gameplays. I think I have one with Nocturne that I want to post, a Kayn versus Nocturne matchup. But I'm trying to get more meta junglers in instead of like Nocturne, because Nocturne's not really meta. He's not a bad jungler, but I want to get more meta junglers like Udyr, like the Diana matchup, the Evelyn. But I want to get more of those matchups and kind of show you guys how to beat. But I do think that a key to climbing is being able to adapt to every elo, because every elo has a different way of climbing and a different thing that different playstyle. And that's something I come to learn when I've been climbing and coaching. Yeah, so yeah, if you guys like the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you guys think. Turn the post notification bell on to keep updated with my channel. And yeah, I wish you guys a happy new season and good luck in your games. Let me know how you guys are doing in the comments. Peace.